maybe opening up your marriage again.
No, I wasn't ever considering it. Robyn and I are married. We're lovers. We have a great relationship and everything like that. Attention from another woman still, it's dangerous. It's like, so I'm like, hey, sweetheart, this woman emailed me and she's like telling me that I should get back in my faith or in our religion or, this kind of thing. And it was just an experience where the woman was well-meaning in every way.
Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm not entirely sure what this so-called redemption tour is about, but it's obvious there's an agenda. Recently, Kody sat down with Access Hollywood to discuss the possibility of adding a new woman to his family. He made a point of saying he isn't actively out searching for a wife, which is interesting language. In the polygamous culture, men aren't supposed to be openly on the hunt. It's seen as distasteful for a man to pursue a woman directly. So Kody's vague, non-committal answer seems carefully chosen. He also said that attention from women, or the idea of bringing in another wife, is dangerous, as though women themselves are a threat and he has no control over his own behavior. It's an outdated, stereotypical mindset that blames women instead of holding men accountable. Honestly, his entire interview felt like a lot of word salad. He said plenty, but none of it meant much. Still, he dropped a few little Easter eggs that I think reveal more than he intended. Let's talk about it.
Telling me to from a religious perspective, she was saying sort of repent. I just felt like, I've been there, done that, and I'm just telling Robyn because it's kind of a funny thing to discuss. And I think Robyn and I have such deep ties to this polygamous culture, and we had a lot of happiness during that experience. That it's hard to get it out of our system, so to speak.
Kody claims that a woman randomly emailed him, saying she wanted to join his family and that he needed to repent. But let's be real, how would she even get his email? How would she know he was open to adding someone to his family? The only way a woman from his religious group would ever approach him is if he already had approval and was in good standing with the church. And we know that's not the case. I suspect the reverse is more likely. Kody initiated contact, and she told him the only way forward was if he repented and made peace with the brethren. That would mean tithing again, getting a recommend, and fully submitting to church authority. TLC has also said Kody was talking to multiple women online, so the idea that she reached out to him doesn't quite ring true. And since he brushed it off as a funny story, I can't help but wonder, was this even real, or just another storyline for the show?
Curiosity. We've had, both of us have been approached this way about people potentially coming into our family, and it doesn't feel very realistic to me at this point because of the trappings of fame, if you understand what I'm saying with that. That it was like this can't be something that we could rely on.
Now it looks like Kody is trying to soften the fact that he was pursuing women by flipping the script and saying women were pursuing him because of his fame. He argues that the attention he gets isn't genuine, that women only want him because he's on TV. But let's not forget, Robyn came into the picture because Kody had a reality show. He flaunted his fame and financial security to win her over. Now, to downplay his actions, he's claiming, well, this woman wanted me to repent and return to the faith, while also accusing her of only being interested in him for superficial reasons. He frames it as a struggle to figure out whether women want him for real, or just because he's famous. Honestly, it feels more like he's chasing women for storylines and then making excuses when it doesn't pan out. The truth is, no woman from the Apostolic United Brethren would be allowed to join his family while he stays public and in poor standing. Yet he keeps using fame as his crutch, either as the reason women are interested, or the reason things can't move forward. I personally think he loves the attention, but he'll always blame someone or something else when it fails.
A couple of them were from people that were embedded most likely in the culture of plural marriage. And I wish him well, and I'm just not. And Robyn and I kind of look at it and it's like, whew, well, we suffered at the end of this experience. It'd be painful to think about it again.
Well, I'm glad.
Kody admits that these women are from the church culture, which means they're tied to the Apostolic United Brethren. But let's be clear. There is absolutely no way church leaders would allow any woman to join his family while he remains out of good standing. Unless he repents, pays tithes, and submits to every rule, it simply won't happen. And let's not forget, he and Robyn would also have to give up their current lifestyle. Things like being public, drinking, swearing, or wearing clothes outside church standards. The church has only gotten stricter, and it doesn't seem like they're willing to make those changes. They even met with leaders a few years ago, but nothing came of it. Kody likes to blame fame, but really, it's his refusal to submit that keeps him out. That's why the supposed woman told him he needed to repent, because that's literally the only way it could ever move forward. Kody, however, doesn't want to repent, so instead he spins the story. He even downplays the failures of plural marriage in his family, saying the suffering they endured wasn't his fault but rather that they stopped having each other's backs. At points in the interview, it really felt like he was indirectly addressing Christine's book without actually mentioning it.
Went through a nasty breakup with the cell of Coyote Pass is what happened. And after that experience, I did some self-reflecting. Even had my beautiful wife, Robyn, say, "You're not the guy. That's not who I married. Why are you behaving this way?" And I had to reflect, and I just felt like the deep spiritual sense that I needed to apologize.
Another odd part was when Kody talked about the breakups. He claimed the family fractured because they stopped supporting each other and then mentioned dividing Coyote Pass as part of the split. But let's be real, they didn't break up with Coyote Pass. That was just property that had to be divided after the relationships ended. In the same interview, Kody spent several minutes justifying his behavior over the past few years, saying his anger, yelling, and mistreatment of his wives came from pain. He tried to frame himself as a walking wound whose actions were explained by heartbreak. But that doesn't justify being abusive. Everyone experiences loss, but not everyone lashes out the way he did. Once again, Kody avoids accountability by making excuses. It's always someone else's fault, or circumstances beyond his control. And what this really shows is that his so-called apology isn't about remorse. It's about manipulation. For years, he tried to control his wives by yelling, demanding obedience, and intimidating them into compliance. When that stopped working and they left, he lost control. Now he's trying a new tactic, apologies in softened language, so they'll stop speaking out against him. To me, that's not an apology. That's an attempt to silence criticism.
Self-doubt.
Okay, a new era.
A new era, and rise again from the ashes. And because this experience has been very painful, it's been very dark for 5 years. It was very hard, sad, and I wanted that healing so much. I was tired of all the backstabbing between us and just wanted to say, I am sorry. I apologize for my part. It is very deeply spiritual to me.
And here's how you know this is just damage control. Kody compared his role on Special Forces to being a phoenix rising from the ashes, burning down his old self to start over. He thinks that if he rebrands, people will forget the past. But the problem is, Kody is still Kody. You can say you're sorry, but unless you change your behavior, it's meaningless. And his track record shows a clear pattern. If he truly wanted to change, he'd repair relationships with his children, show up for the people in his life without manipulation or hidden motives, and act from a place of humility. That would mean something. But instead, he admits his goal is image repair. His family has stopped covering for him, and now his behavior is exposed. What's worse is that this isn't about just the last 5 years. Christine's book makes it clear that the problems go back 30 years, all the way to the start of their marriage. He married her under false pretenses, never truly wanted her, refused to let her leave, and neglected her children. Some of his negligence even caused serious harm, like Truly's health crisis and Dayton's ATV accident. Robyn's children haven't been spared either. For decades, his family protected him, but once they stopped, the truth came out. Now he's scrambling to save face. If he cared about making things right, these conversations would happen in private. But because he's obsessed with fame and image, it's all happening on camera. His motives are clear: keep the TV career, protect his reputation, stay appealing to women, and silence criticism. He even admits he's not done pursuing women. That's the real reason behind all this damage control. And honestly, it's gross. That's my opinion. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. Bye, friends.